Here we are again.
Yeah, at Daytona.
Place is just different.
Yeah, it's a special place though. The first race of the year, Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's always interesting how our sport makes the biggest event the first one.
You know, all your money is, you got the most amount of money you're gonna have at this point. You know, you got your best equipment, and you get to come out and showcase your team and everything at the best it'll be for the whole year long.
I love this place and this area just so much, and gosh, it's been so rough to me.
Well, Quinn, it's that way for about everybody. Most everybody, you know, leaves here in despair. It's very kind to very few. You think about all the greats that have won at this place. They've come to this line, come to this tri-oval, and made something happen right here.
A lot of good and bad has happened in this stretch.
Yeah, through the years, history's shown it. You're trying to make so much happen in this stretch.
I remember watching as a kid, you think someone hasn't won coming off that turn. Yeah. And by the time you get to here, that guy might not even be in the race anymore.
You carry so much momentum off of that corner there, and by the time you get down here, you know, then everybody just starts swapping lanes, and the air gets disturbed. And
I don't think you lift at that point in the Daytona 500.
At this point, no. At that point right here, coming
I don't care what's happening. 499 miles in, there's no chance at this point in the race I'm going to lift for anything.
There's no lifting at this point. Yeah.
I never really thought I'd be sitting on pit road at the Daytona doing an interview with the Daytona 500 champion. I got a lot to learn from this spot because I first got to figure out how to get from this point to this point to finish the race, finish the Daytona 500 first.
Well, I'd like nothing better than to see the 00 getting to the finish line.
You know, a lot of places, you know, kind of realistic expectations, but the Daytona 500, if you're there at the end, there's about 20 guys that have a shot at this thing, which isn't always the case at a lot of other tracks, so.
Especially here at Daytona, there's so much emphasis put on the 500, right? I mean, everybody comes down here, and we spoke about it earlier. You've got the most amount of money, you got the best equipment, and you're the freshest you're gonna ever be, and this is your shot to come down here and shine. And depending on what strategies you pick, you know, do you run up front all day and take a chance, or do you ride in the back and take a chance? And, you know, the key is just getting to the end. And I think, you know, when I won it, it was all about taking care of the car and not worrying about being the fastest guy all day long, even though, you know, everybody believes that you weren't. But when you just take care of the car and you pedal it, you're kind of unassuming, but you know what, it doesn't really matter until the end, and then you get to show your hand. And you know, if we can manage that collectively, I think we got a good shot to be up front at the end.
I've only run one, and when we came here last year, there was so much I learned in the little time that I had, and I felt so good. It almost feels like you got that shot, and you know you got that shot in your stomach, and you kind of lose track of time, and you start just racing too much, and then things happen quick, you know, whether that guy doesn't want to help you or whether something happens up front and you can't get around it. And that's what's so disappointing about this place. But every time you come back here, you still want to, for some reason, come back here and apply, like, I know what I did wrong, I know how to do it now. And every time you think you got it, and you never know when you do, I guess, is when the real thing is. It's going to be, I think any guy that wins here will probably tell you it's better to be lucky than good anytime you come down here, for sure. But there's definitely a lot of experience you got to learn of the give and take, like you were talking about, to get to the end of this race.
You had to absorb so much the first time you came down here, you know, and I think you did a really nice job with doing that. We just, you know, we had a car that really couldn't lead, and we got in that position, and then, you know, we got wrecked, you know. Since then, I think you've realized that, you know, depending on what kind of car you have, really dictates your strategy and how you race, you know. And can you ride in the middle of a pack, and can you ride towards the back and lay in the weeds and wait until the end? And then if you've got a car, can you go and have people go? And, you know, can you manipulate people into doing what you want them to do? Hopefully, collectively, again, we are able to be in that position where we can make some moves, you know, get hooked up at the end or in the beginning, and get to the end where we ultimately start making choices based on our needs and what we want, and ultimately try to put ourselves in a position for that last caution or two, and still have something left to do it with. That's going to be the key. And so many times you don't get there, but you know, hopefully we can. If we do that, then we got as good a shot to win this thing as anybody does.
There's so much that like I learned from the Daytona 500 to coming back here in August and both Talladegas of how to get to the end of these long super speed races. And there's a mental aspect that I didn't have this time last year that I have coming into this time this year. So definitely the goal is to make it to the end, but I think if we do that, we're going to be in a good position. But I got a question.
Yeah.
What happens if it's between me and you in this stretch right here?
And am I pushing or are you pushing?
What if you're pushing? I'll let you answer that one.
If I'm pushing you to the win.
You're pushing me to the win?
I'm pushing you to the win.
I didn't feel that way. I was
didn't?
going to say, if I'm pushing, you've had your chance and you got your ring.
I see. Well, I'd like to have a Mr. T starter kit, but I'm not so sure. You know, I think I'd probably have to try to make a move for it. You know, but you know, I really would like to see Mike and Matt Kohler and Bill Wallerman get a Daytona 500 win.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be really inclined, if I was pushing, to push you across the line, honestly. And you know, I mean, I may sound, you know, that I wouldn't do it, but
I mean, you can make it interesting.
I would make it interesting, yeah. But I really want it for Mike and Matt and Bill, and I would probably succumb to that and giving you your first ring.
Yeah. Well, let's plan on getting to
that point,
opportunity first,
and then we'll see just how. Let's see what comes to fruition at that point.
Yeah,
See if I'm
that's
lying
right.
or if I'm dying.
That's
right.